Lego. Cast your mind back to the space year 2010, round about May, when LEGO decided to release some blind bags onto an unsuspecting planet. Each of these bags contained a collectible minifigure, but blimey crikester, you didn't know which one was in it until after you'd paid your £2 and bought it. And of course you wanted to collect all 16, because if you did, the head of the LEGO company actually came round your house and gave you a kiss on the lips. Unfortunately, they don't do that anymore, but they do still release many series of these figures. There have been quite a lot over the years, to say the least. And even some tie-ins they've had, ones for the Lego Movie, did some Simpsons ones, which I reviewed previously. But we are going back to the very early ones, back to May 2010 and the first series of LEGO's collectible minifigures. Something I should mention, actually, was technically you could find out what was in them back then. They had a second barcode on the packets, and if you had the right app on your phone, you could scan it and it would tell you what figure was in it. They discontinued that idea after a few series, as you can imagine. But anyway, enough talk of weird methods of selling things where people give you money even though they don't know what they're getting. Let's have a look and see which generic characters they decided to release as the first series, and if the figures were any good or not. Let's begin with a clown, because why not? Nice, interesting, giant red afro thing going on here. Could be microphone or golf ball, got that kind of look to it. Clown on the evil scale of clowns. Relatively non-evil, actually. I am disappointed that he didn't paint his face white or something. He's got the usual Lego skin colour. And he has an amusing comedy trumpet horn thing. Actually, it's clearly a horn, because it's one of those ones where you squeeze the end and it goes onk, and hilarity ensues. And he's got patches on his trousers and a red bow tie, and it's quite a nice figure. I like that. It's a nice one to kick things off with and get us in the mood for things like a cheerleader who looks a bit apprehensive. Quite a nicely done figure. You can tell immediately what it is, and they've done the pom-poms quite cleverly, because whilst they look like close-up, sort of like they're made out of minerals or something. They're minerals, Marie. Well, you can tell they're pom-poms. It's quite a clever design. I don't know, because obviously they're not going to be made out of soft stuff. But the look on her face is slightly odd. Don't know how to describe it, really. It's like she's really worried about something that's going to happen soon. Maybe she's cheerleading at the end of the world. We may never know, and we will certainly never care. How about a jolly Native American in many layers of many striped stuffs? He's got quite a nice quiver on his back for his arrows to shoot out of his bow at the dreadful cowboys. And he looks kind of smiley. I would have gone for apologetic, almost. Like, oh, sorry, mate, just knocked an arrow through your window. Didn't mean to. Sorry. Or you're just trying to look overly friendly? I don't know. That's a slightly odd one. I do like the twin layers of feathers, though. That gives an extra level of, well, feathers, literally. Next, nurse. Again, slightly worrying look on her face. It's like she's coming in to give somebody bad news. I don't know, perhaps this graph will tell us what that is. It's a graph for doors and their heart. S-I. I think it's going to be bad news. Bad news could be that she's going to stick him with this bloody great hypodermic needle. It's as large as her arm, for God's sake. Other than that, it's a very, very plain figure. You've got kind of generic hair, plain arms, plain legs, and just nurse print on the body. And yeah, I don't know. Are they trying to go for a sort of sympathetic look with the face? Yeah, I'm going to guess that she's looking sympathetic and not that she's about to tell you that you've got horrible brain disorder and end up like this guy. Yep, it didn't take him long to get a zombie. He seems to have dug himself up with a shovel, which is interesting. Maybe he comes from the old Michael Jackson Thriller video. Torn trousers, torn top, horrifying messed up face, as you would expect, and massive chicken leg that attaches to things from the back. Don't really understand that. You can put it on his head and he's got like a chicken-based gun turret. Can't get my head around that at all, really, the chicken leg. Just like, is the implication that he's ripped it off a human and is eating it, and is actually a human drumstick or something? I really don't know. It's all very odd. It's like one of those things you would find in old arcade games from the 80s, whilst playing them, that would give you extra health, despite the fact that in real life smashing up a phone booth and finding a chicken leg underneath it and eating it probably wouldn't do wonders for your health. But hey, he's still got his tie on. He's still ready for his business meeting. His business meeting with a ninja. Dun 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 dun. I should point out, I can't remember if this came with one sword or two. Mine came with two swords, so I've used them both, but he may have been a one-sword ninja. He may not have been dual-wielding. Slightly ugly clasp on the back for holding the sword in rather than a nice scabbard, and it attaches to the mask there. And again, very plain. It's just like, here's some robe and everything else is black. But it does look quite nifty, mainly because he looks really pissed off from his eyes. Actually, let's remove the old headpiece there. Oh my god, that is one grumpy bastard. Let's put that back on. Wow, he is really pissed off. He's just had his ninja tax bill in, I reckon. Next, generic skater boy. He's got a skull and crossbones on his chest, on his hoodie, and he's got a cool haircut and a winsome expression. He's a video blogger. Yep, and he's got a skateboard. Wow, it's like the Fast and Furious 8 or something. Right, that was a bit boring. How about something a bit more exciting? For instance, slightly evil-looking magician. There he is with his wand and his tuxedo and his otherwise fairly plain parts. But he does come with a hat, of course, for producing rabbits. Or, pull his hair off, and there we are. A more traditional-looking magician. Quite like that one. I think it's the expression on the face that makes it, along with the creepy pencil moustache stuff. Could partially be a villain from one of the old silent movies that would tie women to train tracks for some reason. That's quite dusty. That's weird. It's been displayed in something that I thought dust couldn't get into. Dust gets everywhere. It's intelligent or something. How about a very, very smarmy spaceman? He looks a little bit too pleased with himself as he fires his ray gun that has a lightsaber jammed in it for some reason. Yeah, again, quite plain. You'd expect a backpack or something. The legs are quite nicely done. But what's made it for me is that he's got the old Lego space symbol on him. That takes me back to times when that was a thing that existed. There we are. That's the most basic level of nostalgia you've ever seen. Robot time. How cool is this? Rivets everywhere. Really dodgy looking, well, I would say 50s sci-fi robot. I'm not even sure it qualifies as that, frankly. It's got valve things to tell you pressure or something. It's got a customised arm with a claw on it. It's got a dustbin on its head with eyes inside. I really like this one. I seem to remember, actually, the head was cool. Oh, my God. I was going to say the head was cool when you took the top off, but it looks mildly terrifying, sort of a Lego Terminator thing going on. That seems to be a recurring feature, actually. They've all got scary faces when you take the masks off. Slightly odd choice, this one I always thought. A crash test dummy with a PASO, or PA770, or 70, who can say, license plates, presumably, and a big spanner. What does he use that for? I use this spanner to reassemble my child after they smash it to pieces in tests. Yeah, thanks for that. I've just remembered there was a whole range of action figures in the 90s based, something like the Incredible Crash Dummies. I don't know if it was based off a cartoon or something. Always seemed like a slightly odd choice. What are we going to do this week? How about we get strapped into a car that's smashed into a wall and we'll see what damage is done to us? Hooray! Probably cool toys, though, because the heads flew off or something. I don't know. But all the same, slightly odd. Also, reminds me a bit of those guys from Stargate with the thing in the middle of their head. Although, to be fair, they also didn't have the symbol on their knees and on their nipples. Not that I remember, anyway. It's a weird thing in the stomach there. In fact, kind of looks like, I don't know, I just didn't put my thumb over that in the first place, a weird face on his chest. This is the gift that keeps giving, this one. I like it more now. How about a Lucha Libre wrestler? I shan't say no. There he is, with his mask, which cannot be taken off until he's beaten, and then, like, he can never wear a mask again or something. That's the way it works, isn't it? Look, kind of a superhero thing going on with this. I don't know if, by the colours, they were going for a look of that film with Jack Black in, what was that, Nacho Libre, I think it was called? I don't know. I've never seen it because it looked a bit poo. Maybe it's the best film ever. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Figure's quite nice, though. The mask is quite nicely done. I like the cape touch and the little interesting wing bits on the pockets there. Gets an extra vote for me. And now, generic, the Frogman. He goes underwater and scuba dives and that. Shouldn't this bit be in his mouth? Isn't he going to die? Also, this is clearly a motorcycle helmet with a slightly different thing attached to it. Well, he looks pleased with himself, probably because he hasn't gone in the water yet. Single tank on the back. It's quite a nice-looking figure, actually. I like it, but I like the grey gloves as well to offset it a bit. But I do wish that would kind of not just sit around his neck. He's not going to end up very well there. Actually, this is more of a snorkel. Maybe this is just for decoration. I don't know. You're a fake. You're not really a deep-sea diver at all, are you? You're just some goddamn snorkelist. Get over there and hopefully the nurse will inject you with something and make you interesting. Humph. Oh, It's not Robin Hood, because Robin Hood is probably a little bit too close to home for them, so they call it Forest Man or something. But it's quite clearly Robin Hood, dressed in Lincoln Greeno. Exactly the same quiver and bow setup as the Native American guy here, except he is much less befeathered in his pointy hat. Gone for the Errol Flynn kind of look on the face and facial hair there. Yeah, that is quite good actually. I hadn't realised looking at it now until the detail in the straps there. That is actually quite a nifty thing. They could have made that a lot plainer than they did. I quite like that actually. Well done. You can go near the clown because you're a good boy. There's two left. I'm going to go for the slightly more tedious one first. Angry looking cowboy bloke. He's got 2 pistols. He can probably only fire one accurately because very few people are truly ambidextrous, but hey, his hat's cool. He looks kind of yeah, pretty peed off, actually, but also quite pleased with himself at the same time. I like the creases around the eyes. Quite nice detailing, but it's sad that there's nothing on the legs or the arms. They did pull the boat out a bit later on, and you had more sort of special transfers on the legs and stuff. It was a bit plain for some of these first ones. Still not a bad figure. Don't mind it. And finally, the Caveman, which is a hell of a club we've got there. They reused that many times over the years, if I remember. Yeah, we've got the leg detailing we missed in the last one, but I do love the massive amount of hair and beard. They've really done it heftily, and the giant eyebrow, which also, I think, really sets it off. What's he like without it? Oh my giddy aunt, that's absolutely terrifying. Put it back, put it back! Bloody hell. Well, there we are. That was Wave 1 of LEGO minifigures. If you'd like to catch them in the shops, tough tits. They literally disappeared like 5 years ago. But that doesn't mean we can't look at them and make judgments based on them for no reason whatsoever. Anyway, be sure to join me at some totally random point in the future where I will go over the other series of these, unless nobody watches this video, in which case I won't bother. Here's a zombie again.
Subscribe for more.